Hello and welcome to another video from
Absolute Game Off. Nerd!
All right, we are back. Have a special episode, a little review of Deadpool and Wolverine. Hope everyone had a chance to see it this weekend when it made as much money as it did. I'm assuming everyone saw it this weekend, but there are going to be spoilers here. So if you haven't seen it, I would, tune off. But joining me today, I have Bruce from Up North Comics. Bruce, what's up?
How's it going?
Good. Awesome. And then I have Ryan from Colossus Collector here with me as well. Ryan, what's up?
What's going on?
Also, just so everyone's aware, this is going to premiere Monday morning, but that evening, Ryan on his channel is going to do a much more thorough and in-depth. I'm sure they're going to go into all kinds of the nitty-gritty here on his Council of X. What time is that going to be at tomorrow, Ryan? Or today, I should say, since this is.
Yeah, so today, when you're watching it, we're going live at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, and so you'll be able to interact via the comment threads and all that stuff. I'll put all the links in the description as well, but make sure and check that out. But yeah, we are also going to talk about Wolverine and Deadpool. I always like to start with these reviews, just kind of giving an overall high level opinion. So Bruce, why don't you start us off? What were you just like? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What did you think?
Very simple person when it comes to movies, so I really enjoyed it. It's kind of one of those movies that me and my wife have made a tradition to go see. She really likes Deadpool. She thinks it's hilarious, so it's just
Does
kind
she
of
see the other Marvel movies, or is this just Deadpool?
No, I've dragged her to all of them that I've seen, but this one, Deadpool, she really likes. So it's enjoyable to be like, hey, new Deadpool movie comes out, and she's like, oh, okay, cool, let's go, But I brought her to Endgame, and I think Deadpool 2 after that, and I try not to drag her to everything, but she doesn't have a choice.
Yeah,
I got my little mini-me to bring with me later in the future.
Yeah,
with all the new movies that are being announced, it's just absolutely crazy. But
yeah,
maybe hold off on the Deadpool sequels though.
Yeah.
that might be one for a little bit later.
Yeah, maybe when they're a lot older. Yeah, for sure. Ryan, what about? Oh, also, I should say real quick, Dan is going to be joining us in the next 10 minutes or so he'll pop on here. But Ryan, kind of your overall high level thoughts of we have our text threads going on. Ryan's has kept his opinions close to the chest here, so I'm very interested to see.
Yeah, so I went and saw it early Thursday, right after work. I wanted to avoid the spoilers, and to be honest, after the movie, I didn't see that many spoilers, so I probably would have been okay. But went and saw it early. I'm a big X-Men guy. I love the previous Deadpool movies. I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. And the hype was high going in. That was my one concern, was just it was just max level hot hype going into this. And I will, when I got out of the movie, I was like, how do I feel right now? Is there one word that can encompass how I feel? And the word I came up with was conflicted.
Oh.
Yeah. Probably not what you were expecting.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the movie from an entertainment standpoint. It was so fun. Loved all the fan service. Just so much fan service and so many Easter eggs for comic nerds.
Oh, yeah.
I loved all that. And just as a movie itself, it was really, really great. I enjoyed it a lot. The problem is I'm a big MCU guy, and I really kind of expected at least a little bit more future building, world building. I really thought that they would set some things up, because that's part of when I go to a Marvel movie, I'm expecting a great movie, but also to be excited about what's coming next when I get out of it. And that's the thing that fuels my Marvel or my MCU fanhood. And you know, in the last couple of years that's been kind of lackluster. And I really thought with all this hype, like, okay, now they're gonna start, you know, laying some steps for the future. And I just don't really think we got that. It was very like self-contained standalone film. I mean, other than the TVA and like him going to the Avengers interview and those little things, it almost could have just been a Deadpool sequel in the Fox world, right? And then the big disappointment was the end credit scene. As funny as that was,
yeah,
to have to sit through all those credits, think, at least I'm gonna have this amazing end credit scene that I had heard was like the best end credit scene of all time, and then it was just another joke.
Yeah, and it wasn't even that good.
That bums me out. I honestly,
it's funny, you know. Go. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
I was just gonna say, like, I feel like I need to go back and see it again, and I'll probably really appreciate it on the second view. Yeah. Now that I know that I'm not expecting those Easter eggs and those teases for the future, but that kind of just slightly soiled my experience.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's probably gonna be a lot of people in the sense that because of how much they hyped it up. I mean, from my opinion, so just since you kind of, I like the one word, like my one word I would say would be fun. Like it was just such a fun, like I would even say it was probably the most fun I've ever had at an MCU movie. That doesn't mean it was the best movie, but it was the most fun. And so like you, I had a wedding on Friday. And so I was like, I can't wait till Saturday to see this thing. I went late night because I ended up taking the day off Friday. So I went late night Thursday after put the kids down and everything because I didn't want to spoil it. And then actually it worked out that my brother-in-law, who I usually see these movies with, he then wanted to see it on Saturday. So I went again the second time. But the way I look at it and is to me, and what I really enjoyed about it, I mean, it was obviously fun. I look at this as like it was a palate cleanser, right? It took a dump on everything that they've done, like since Endgame. Like, I mean, even the points when like Deadpool's like you're entering the MCU at a low point, and then those parts are like, yeah, guys, the multiverse has not been great. Like, and then like, they're all like, it was all just like saying like, okay, guys, we get you're upset. We're coming back and we're coming back hard. And so like from that aspect, I loved it. Like it was super funny. Yeah. It was super fun, super enjoyable. I had the exact same feeling as you though, because you had Kevin Feige came out and was like, this is the start of the X-Men, like that's situation in the MCU. Like this is where it all starts. So it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna get some we're gonna lay some groundwork. And then as well, I heard the same thing. Someone said this is one of the greatest end credit scenes of the MCU. So I took those two things and I was like, it is going to be a major X-Men kind of reveal. And so I, and this is our own fault, right? My expectation then for that part was so high. So I'm with you. You wait through all those end credits and like the end credit scene was hilarious. It was a joke, but it was not satisfying for what I was waiting for.
No.
But again, that's the whole point of like, you should go in with no expectations and things like that. But then on second rewatch, again, like knowing all that going in, again, I still thought it was super fun on the second time. I really enjoyed it. Again, my biggest gripe has often always been like, I want more of a serious tone. You had to know going in that this was not going to be that, right? This was going to be silly, but with that silliness factor, I love that they targeted the silliness at the Marvel movies that they've been making. And that's what was really cool about it for me.
Yeah.
It was really honest. Like, and I liked the self-deprecating, like, yeah, it's Deadpool coming from a different place. And he's saying some observations about the current state of the MCU, but this is an MCU movie. They greenlit all this stuff, right? So I felt that was really refreshing. And like you said, it's a palate cleanser. It's an acknowledgement that like we're all very aware of what's happened and where things have gone. And you're right. I feel like it could be like the start of a new brighter future. I just wanted a little bit more tease, a little bit more just excitement. The great thing though is that we got that kind of in the announcements of the
same weekend.
So at least that I feel like I'm walking away from this weekend like pretty satisfied overall now. But yeah, it was really that end credit scene that really made me feel conflicted, because it's the last thing, right? It's the last thing you experience in that movie, and it was a disappointment, right? So I got to go see it again. I really do. I think I'll have way more positive vibes on the second time around.
Totally. And we're actually going to do, we'll wrap up and we'll just do a quick little, our thoughts on the upcoming announcements that you mentioned. But since we talked about a disappointment, I'm just curious, do either of you have any other disappointments with the movie before we get into what we loved and what we enjoyed?
About the movie?
Yeah.
I got one, but Bruce, why don't you go?
Oh, actually, hold on real quick here. We got Dan is here. Dan made it back.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Hi Dan.
What's up?
So Dan, actually, we were just kind of finished our just high level overall opinion of the movie. So why don't, before we get into what we were about to get into, why don't you give us your high level overall opinion?
You high level overall opinion as far as like
we're
a specific scene or
no. Like, I love this movie. I hated this movie. I just what was your overall thought?
It was a fantastic summer romp.
Yes, that's a great way to describe it. Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, so what we were just kind of discussing is Ryan went into the movie like me with this. I had an expectation that the end credit scene was going to be very forthcoming with especially X-Men and things like that. And so while the end credit scene was great, I did leave a little disappointed because I was like, oh, I thought we were going to get Cyclops and Storm or something like that. So with that in mind, we were going to say, was there anything else that was disappointing? So Bruce, you were going to say, or you were going to talk real quick about any quick disappointments you had?
Disappointments. So Ryan hit the nail on the head with that end scene. I mean, this movie was so hyped, and everybody's like, oh, don't spoil it. Don't spoil anything. We had some accidental spoilers in our group chat, and, it didn't really live up to all that hype that it was given. It was a good movie and it was funny, but is that really it? But that's what you're to be expected when you're watching a Deadpool movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we really think it was going to be anything more than that, you kind of have to give it credit to the movie itself. It delivered. It was gory, but the CGI was really good, but overall disappointment, it would be the overall hype for the movie.
Yeah, and again, that's something that we as fans just do, right? When you put something up so high, how often does it ever live up to that? Ryan, you said you had one thing.
Yeah, well, kind of two things. But the one thing that I'll bring up, and I think Dan probably already knows what I'm gonna say. And you guys probably all know. My guy got no screen time. Honestly, I think they showed his face once or twice.
Well, he had one line. He's Great British Bake Off.
Brutal. Come on, man. Let's to be honest, I expected that, so that wasn't that disappointing, but the fact that he got no time after that.
I will say this, I thought the CGI or the effects or however he looked even better than from the original Deadpool movies. I thought he looked great. How he looked, the aesthetic was awesome.
Well, bigger budget too, right?
Yeah.
The first movie had a very small budget, and you could tell every movie the CGI has gotten better. Because the first one was lower budget, they kind of had to prove themselves. They even make jokes about that, how all I could afford was this one CGI X-Men and this little teenager Megasonic teenage warhead. And then the second movie they had a bigger budget because the first one was a hit. Now they're in MCU money. So yeah, the CGI definitely improved. But they didn't do enough. They did nothing with it when it comes to Colossus. So that kind of bugged me. And then just to like piggyback on that, and just like my whole point about like how they didn't really build anything for the future with this movie. I mean, other than the fact that like we know that they're coming back. Like just the fact that they've been in contact with the TVA and all that stuff. So like I know they're coming back in some capacity. Maybe they're gonna play off that Thor thing. Like they'll actually make that Thor scene where Thor
he's holding Deadpool's
that
head.
would be like a very MCU like full circle moment for Deadpool to have a moment with Thor, and he's so funny too, right? That would be a great combo one day down the line, Secret Wars or whatever. But he also just ends up back in his universe. I really kind of thought like he was gonna end up in the 616, right? Like, so like the fact that he's back with all his friends and like I don't know, it a little bit odd, but
I mean, it really does just like it doesn't. I mean, now it's like almost like they can go wherever they. So it doesn't.
They don't have to make another movie, really, even like in a lot of ways.
Yeah, Dan, any? I know one of yours is one of mine as well. So.
Oh, I don't even know what that is. I was just pretty much in agreement with Bruce. I think the only thing that takes it down, a notch for me for just in just fully enjoying it was that I was anticipating a twist and a turn and every cameo. So even though like, that we're going full spoilers, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay,
we're full.
All right. Like even though they did that cameo with Blade and Gambit and Elektra, I didn't know that they were coming, but it was just kind of like, oh, okay, that's who it is. But is that it? Like, there was just like because of that expectation, and everybody who came out was just like, this is gonna be mind-blowing. It just wasn't as transcendent as I knew it wouldn't be, but overall, like just for what it is, I can't really be let down because I was entertained for 2 hours, and I don't know when the last time I didn't fall asleep in a 2-hour movie was. So they did their job.
My two just and they're nitpicks really, like, and one of them I'm curious if it was actually intentional. Like I loved Gambit. I loved the voice. I loved how he fought.
Okay.
But he looked bad. He was so cheesy. And like again, maybe that was like because I think we've talked about this, like the idea of Channing Tatum playing Gambit, it just doesn't work in my mind. And so like I was never upset that movie got scrapped way back. And so I wonder if that was more of like a joke of itself that like we're gonna do it, but we're gonna make him look kind of cheesy.
That's how I took it, or at least it just did. He was thick.
He was thick, but
thick as hell in that costume.
Yeah, it all just looks so.
Thick boy summer.
but the accent, the fight, I thought was fantastic.
The way they made fun of his accent. Yeah.
The other thing, I don't know if I may be one of the few. I did not think Wolverine's mask looked good. Like, especially with the white eye holes, I did not think it looked. I would have been like, it looked better with him maskless. And I'll also say that, like, I've always thought, I don't know how you can make that mask look good in real life. Like with cartoons and animation, like it looks like the comic books, right? But in real life, it's like, how do you actually pull off this mask? So.
Yeah. But that could have been what they were going for. Like you said, that could have just been like the running joke of the movie was we're going to make Gambit look silly. We're going to make this mask look silly.
But I mean, I've talked to multiple people that are like, there are a lot of people that loved the mask though. I know a lot of people.
I think they were pretty serious about the mask.
I honestly didn't hate it. I thought they did a pretty okay job. I think, I don't know if you just mentioned it but I know you said, prior to the stream that you didn't like the white eyes.
Yeah.
That could be a thing. I'd like to, but I'd need to see it with eyes and without. But like, if you think about it, like Captain America, he doesn't have the eye thing, and Captain America's mask or cowl or whatever you want to call it, looks great in the MCU. So like, I'd love to maybe just see what he would look like. I feel like the white eye makes it feel like a little more plastic than. It works for Deadpool, but I think it would have been maybe better without the eyes.
Well, I think why it works with Deadpool is because his whole face is covered, so you get no actual facial expressions, right? Yeah. When you get the wide eyes but you get all of the lower half of the face, like, and how it's talking and how it's moving, that's what throws me off, and it makes it look kind of weird.
Yeah.
But again, I also just, again, to make the whatever we call the horns or the situation, it's just very different. Or like Batman's a good example. Like the Batman mask looks phenomenal. But yeah, again, still with the way it's shaped, like I've never understood how anyone would ever get to make that look good. So
he would need the eyeliner if he was going without the white eye.
That's possible.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I was just gonna say I think the mask actually doesn't look that bad, but yeah, I would like to see it maybe without the white eyes just to see if it works. But I'm okay with it. But I also get that they're probably he's only gonna wear it for like that small amount of time.
Yeah.
They got that beautiful Hugh Jackman face they got to show off.
Yeah.
Right. So
speaking of Hugh Jackman face, that was one other slight critique I would have. I'd say the mutton chops was more like a chin strap. It didn't quite do it for me, like how it was connected to just that little bit of the mustache, and it seemed like it was shaved. Down. They shaved it down like a chin strap. It felt a little. But you know what?
Yeah, these are all like
get your popcorn. Enjoy the movie.
Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, let's get into parts and cameos and things we loved. I'll start off just because I want to say it. Chris Evans yelling "Flame on" was my absolute favorite part of the movie. I bust up laughing so hard. Especially when Deadpool's like, he's gonna say it. He's like, "Flame on!" I lost. And the theater, and this is also the great thing of seeing it on Thursday night. The entire theater was so into this movie. I mean, there was clapping, there was cheering, and the flame on part, I mean, it got everyone rolling. This is fantastic.
I absolutely hate clapping at the end of the movie. Like, it's the stupidest thing. They're not performing live. Why are we clapping at the end of a movie? I'm sorry
is that you that mentioned that before?
In the movie, like out of excitement, I don't mind the reactions and stuff.
Just excited.
The bravo! Like, come on, like, stupid. I honestly, every time that happens, I just like cringe so hard. It's just,
it is cringy.
But what's one of your favorite highlights of the movie, Ryan?
Oh, I mean, like I said, like I did really love the movie. There were so many things. I would say my favorite part of the movie was when he starts going through the different Wolverine multiverses, and you just get absolute comic book fan service. You get to see Short Wolverine.
That was so good.
But then you get like John Byrne brown suit, and he even says John Byrne.
Yeah.
You get the X crucifixion thing that looks so amazing.
Yeah. That purple,
Cavalrine or whatever they call them.
Working on the bike. Yeah.
And I saw someone on Cavalrine.
So good.
It's the previous Henry Cavill movie where he's like about to fight, and he does like he loads up his arms like that. He does the same thing with Wolverine here.
Yeah. So good. That whole thing was so well done. I liked the cameo. I liked Blade. I thought Blade's actually Wesley Snipes is actually a really cool cameo deep cut, because if you know the history, Ryan Reynolds and him did not get along on Blade 3 when he played Hannibal King on that movie. Like, it's on record that he thought Wesley Snipes was kind of a dick, and to have him in this movie and like they're patched up and stuff, that was like a really fun
not only that, like a lot of everyone that like there was all these rumors of all these cameos, like Elektra was rumored, Gambit was rumored. Not once did it ever, at least if it was, I missed it. Like I would have never guessed Wesley Snipes played. So when he walked out, I was like, oh, that was dope.
I had heard Blade. I had heard rumors of Blade, but I had heard it was gonna be the guy who played Blade in a TV show or something. There was like apparently a Blade show at one point, and then I also saw like the internet sleuths like breaking down all these like leaked images, or even the images they showed, and they'd show like a little silhouette deep in the corner, and they'd be like, "That's Blade, right?" And it was definitely not the Blade that we saw in the movie. But when Wesley Snipes came out, that was pretty dope.
Yeah.
Bruce, any big highlights for you want to point out?
Yeah, my biggest one I was going to mention was Blade for sure. I thought that was a cool cameo. And just overall, like the CGI was just amazing. So that was a big hit. And then the Wolverine and Deadpool like fight scenes were cool.
The fights were phenomenal, and especially the one inside the Honda Odyssey.
Yes.
I thought were,
I was gonna say the when they're fighting the all the different Deadpools, and they do that pan shot through the bus.
Yeah.
That was, I just loved the cinematography of it, and like that was really cool. But the Odyssey one was awesome too.
Yeah. Dan, what about you?
Oh. Yeah, go ahead, Bruce.
No, I'll save it. You're good.
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna echo what you guys said. I think the finding the Wolverine part was great for me. It was. There was moments just where I was laughing, or the whole theater was laughing, and you couldn't hear the next joke because the initial hit was just so strong. So I just loved that, just grinning ear to ear, watching that play out, just on the edge of my seat. I mean, that was the highlight for me. There was a few fun, like really funny jokes, the flame on part, and just, expecting him to be Captain America. And then when Deadpool was making fun of Remy LeBeau's accent, it got me when he made the thing, like saying the Minions was his speech coach or whatever. And it was just a lot of fun. It was just fun to go to a movie again and just have fun and just kind of, go full on with the fourth wall breaking and just understand that this doesn't have to make sense, and we can just enjoy this.
Yeah, and the fourth wall breaking, I thought, really worked because of the self-deprecating humor that they used against the MCU. Like, that's why I thought the fourth wall, because normally I think I told you, like, I'm not a huge fan of fourth wall breaking. It honestly like takes me out, and it makes me think, okay, this movie isn't a serious movie.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. But like that's why it worked here, because this isn't a serious movie. It's a silly movie. And the humor they chose was to make fun of itself. And so that's why I really enjoyed it in this movie.
It's good with Deadpool. Outside of that,
you could make the argument that it took away from the stakes, of the whole overarching MCU. Which makes sense, which I totally get, and that's valid. But this is a Deadpool movie. You have to give it a pass.
Anything goes.
Yeah. I actually I thought the opening fight scene where he's using Wolverine's corpse, that was also super well
really
done.
good.
I thought, they did it with like how to intro the opening credits, like all of that was.
Yeah. And I mean, they've been doing those like pretty cool openings from the first one with when he jumps into the van and all the
they hit the ground running.
So I love that that's a thing that they just keep doing in all.
And I liked when he put on Wolverine's claws, that when he was fighting, he like still like stabbed himself. He's like, oh, I'm not used to this. This is kind of
yeah.
I was telling you guys how they're playing Bye 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 during that scene, right?
Yeah.
Just 5 minutes into the movie, and it's blasting, the music, and you're just, Deadpool's dancing in between the little fight scenes. And I was telling you, I looked at my wife and said,
like that.
I looked at my wife and said, we got 2 more hours.
And they fully played that too. Like the music was like great for, again, to match the tone of what this movie was. The music was awesome.
Yeah. What'd you guys think of Cassandra Nova being the main villain?
So I know nothing about. I literally heard of Cassandra Nova the first time when they showed the trailer of like the behind scene with the bald head coming in, and I was like, "Oh, is that Professor X?" And then I watched one of those trailer breakdowns, and they were like, "No, that's Cassandra Nova," and I'm like, "Who the hell is that?" So I've never heard of her. I don't know anything about her. It seems like she's essentially unstoppable for the most part. I don't know if that's comic accurate. I have no idea. So I'm curious to hear what you guys say on that.
I didn't find out about, I like learned about her relatively recently too, like in the last year. I don't know if I learned about her when it started kind of like leaking that she might be the villain in this movie, or if it was before X-Men 97, because she in the comics is responsible for the massacre of Genosha when all those Sentinels go there. She actually is the one who sends all the Sentinels to Genosha and kills like everybody. So somewhere around there I learned who she is. Definitely a formidable villain. I'm kind of glad that she's sort of well, she's gone now, but she's been kind of contained in the void, because she's like kind of one of those villains that just like we're all fucked.
Like there's nothing we can do. What can we do?
You know, so I kind of don't like those like absolute unstoppable villains. Like, but I mean, they always find a way to stop them, so whatever. But yeah.
The whole like when they don't define like the limits of their powers, it's like, okay, well, then what are they supposed to do here?
But yeah, I thought it was good.
I really like Emma Corrin, who's the actress that played her. In other things she's done, I thought she did a great job as this character. So
there was a little bit of like absurdity to it, or like, you know, madness to it. But yeah, I thought that she acted really great. I was a little confused by how Wolverine had used the well, you know, Professor would have saved you, would have spared your life, so we're going to try that and just trust each other. And then it worked, but then she like also, you know, she like let them live, but then decided later to still.
Well, I mean, she made that decision after she found out that Paradox had this plan.
Had a plum, is what I.
Frozen.
Oh, did I freeze?
Yeah, you froze.
He said Paradox had a.
I was saying she only made the decision to then like be bad again after she found out from Pyro that like Paradox wanted her dead and then about the Time Ripper and things like that. So like I think that changed her perspective on like okay, like she let them go, but now she had this opportunity to essentially become all powerful, and so she took it. So I don't think it's kind of. I think it just her perspective changed on like what the end game could be. So that's kind of how I took it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think like in my head or my heart, I was feeling like that was the climax moment of the final boss, you know, if you will. So I suppose to have that second moment where they're, you know, working together to restore, you know, everything. It just felt like. It just felt. It just didn't flow, I suppose, like how I had expected. But as far as like her being the character and the main actor as the villain, yeah, it was perfectly fine.
Yeah, I was curious when she's in Logan's head and he's like walking in that like tall grass and there's like those concrete. I don't know what the hell they are. Yeah. Is that significant of anything? If it was, I don't have no idea.
I don't know of I don't know of any comic significance to that. I probably would have seen something online if there had been, because that scene came out before the movie did. So if it had any like specific comics significance, somebody would have like did a video on it.
The only thing I could think of is Kitty Pryde walking by all the tombstones and Days of Future Past, but
maybe.
Yeah, I mean, he was kind of recollecting all of the mistakes that he had made and how he felt responsible for the death of them all.
Of everyone, yeah.
It could be something that's coming later too that we don't know about.
I mean, I just kind of took it as this Wolverine just being.
I figured though, if that was going to be the case, if that was, you would have seen like people on those concrete pillars, like So that's why I was like, I was like, I must be missing something, but I guess who knows.
But you're right, Bruce. I think there's like a certain type of metaphor to sing those. You know,
there was.
I felt the same thing.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of little hidden Easter eggs, a lot of little metaphors that we just won't know about until later in the future, you know,
or never at all.
Right? It's a conspiracy.
Man. But there's like even that like whole like Liefeld's just feet thing that was in the trailer, but in the scene with all the Deadpools, like that's such a thing that like only we're gonna know that. Like the general person watching that movie has
no idea who Rob Liefeld is.
That has any kind of significance. Yeah, so that's what makes this movie a lot of fun as a comic geek and nerd, because
they definitely hooked us up there.
Little Easter egg things,
Some nods for sure.
Serious fan service.
So one thing we should talk about real quick though. So no Taylor Swift. We didn't even see who played Lady Deadpool. I don't know if that's come out.
I have. It's been confirmed that it's Blake Lively.
It is okay. Like I could totally see it. Totally could have been, but like they definitely didn't choose to show that.
Cowboy Deadpool was. I'm almost 100% that was Matthew McConaughey's voice.
Oh yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, dude, that sounds like Matthew McConaughey. Like that's exactly where my head went to. But I don't know if that would have come out.
I don't know if he was in the suit. Probably not.
Maybe he used the voice.
He might have done the VO for it.
Yeah. So I'm just curious, like, is X-Men 130 gonna be on the top 10 again this next coming week? So
probably.
Yeah.
All those people that paid $1,800 for a 9.8. Sorry, guys.
I need an upgrade, so I'm hoping that thing comes crashing down again.
Yeah, they can unload them on us for sure.
Yeah. What have we missed? Anything else we've missed on the movie? Like, go ahead. What do you got, Bruce?
I was gonna have an idea. Biggest thing we hated. One thing we hated about it.
Well, that we went through that with our disappointments.
But let us know, Bruce. We're
One
here to
thing
take on your
I
bets. Yeah.
hated about that movie was the Deadpool dog.
Oh yeah,
that's like ugly, or
that was Britain's ugly
dog last year.
I see.
That was so just no. It was just no to get rid of.
Why you hate dogs?
No,
you know they even like brought that dog to the premiere and were like taking pictures with it.
I didn't think it was funny. I didn't like it. It bothers me. And
I thought the dog matched the tone of the movie.
Yeah, it did, but like, why? Just get rid of it. not even have that in the movie.
I love that nice.
I did like the Canadian.
I like
Deadpool.
That was funny.
I love that Nice Pool had no regenerative powers.
Yeah,
and how he was just so trusting of. That was
that was good. It was a good movie though.
It was.
So then let's kind of give it a rating. Like I would say for me 8 out of 10. Bruce, what do you got?
I got 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Ryan?
8 out of 10 feels right.
Yep. I'm at 8. I'd probably be at 9 had I known nothing about it, or had people not been just
so amped,
like so into it, like this was transcending. But yeah, it definitely did the job for what.
For me, the not having that Marvel tie-in or a good end credit scene is what brings it down.
Yeah. There's a lot of expectations.
Well, I mean, you think about it too, right? Go back to like Avengers 1. Like that movie is one of my favorite all-time MCU movies. But then you kind of like add that scene of Thanos at the end, like that end credit. That to me,
I mean, we could go on.
That to me is the greatest end credit scene we've ever had. And so it's like you already have a A+ movie. Like Avengers 1 is like as high as you can get for me, in my opinion. And then to add that end credit scene was like that's the freaking more than the cherry on top. So yeah, especially too like we saw Beast in the Marvels.
That was an incredible end credit scene.
Yeah,
that helped salvage a pretty not memorable movie.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the best part of that movie.
100%. So it's like I thought for sure we were gonna get something, even if it was like old X-Men, like Halle Berry and the guy who played or something, just to like give us some kind of X-Men tease.
I did kind of expect something like that.
Yeah. And again, like I said, with Kevin Feige doing all that hype about like this is the start of the X-Men and the mutant saga, I just fully expected there to be a little bit more
or just end up in the 616 or just something. Like I was just that's what I want.
Or like I mean, even with like since we had Cassandra Nova, Professor X's twin, like I thought maybe we'd get like Professor X at some point. Like so. But yeah, let's talk before we kind of wrap up here about the future. And so Ryan, you made the point, like maybe that was intentional because of all that was announced Saturday night at San Diego Comic-Con. So Kang Dynasty is out. Avengers Doomsday is in. And then the big thing was obviously Robert Downey Jr. announced as Dr. Doom. I'm curious, you guys, is kind of quick. We don't need to go into super big details, but kind of quick thoughts. One thing we talked about before we recorded and before you got on, Dan, one thing to know, whether you like it or love it, that singular news overshadowed one of the biggest openings ever with Wolverine and Deadpool, and going 400 million plus. Yeah. And our entire feed was blanketed with Doom since that announcement, which is crazy to consider out. So people are hyped, and I'm hyped. So I'm kind of curious, what do you guys think of all of that?
Well, like when it comes to as far as overshadowing it, that
no, I'm just saying, like, what do you think of that? Like, do you like RDJ? Are you excited? Like,
it's a really fun idea, and I hope that they can pull it off. And I'm not too worried about it, just because I mean we've hit like such a low point of MCU movies, and so they know what they have to do. They're doing this for a living. I'll trust that they got this. Who am I to say that it was a mistake? It's exciting news, and it's a fun reveal. That's all I have to say.
Bruce, Ryan?
Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, well, I was shocked. I mean, talk about absolute bomb drop. That was pretty amazing announcement and reveal. My initial thinking was just like, holy, how does this even work? And I mean, that's still the case. Like, we just don't know what this is going to be. Is he going to be a Stark variant that becomes Doom? Is it going to be Dr. Victor Von Doom steals his likeness, or his body somehow transfers his conscious, or is it going to be some other thing that we haven't thought of? Like, there's a lot of possibilities. I think what's important is the Russo brothers are back. McFeely
and the writer
McNeely, I forget his name. One of the two writers that wrote Endgame and Infinity War are back working with them. And then RDJ is a sick actor. Like, I think it's gonna turn out amazing. So I'm excited about it. I'm definitely super curious and don't know what they're gonna do with it. But I think it's pretty exciting. It just feels like they know that they need to do some big things, and they're gonna do it. And I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I'm also just super hyped about that Fantastic Four stuff that leaked out.
Well, I want to get that. That's gonna hold it for last. Sorry. What I was gonna say, I think there are a lot of possibilities how you play it with. Is he a variant? Is he this? Is he that? Yeah. My honest to God, though, personal preference, and I've said this before in our chat, I would actually just love it if he was just Victor Von Doom. It was just RDJ was just playing a new character, because I am not, again, and I'm not saying this should be everyone, but I personally am not tied to any actor playing any one of these characters. Like, there could be someone else playing Iron Man. There could be someone else playing Captain America. These characters, to me, I love the characters and they're timeless. I understand actors age. So, like, to me, if they're going to be making these movies for decades to come, which, Disney didn't buy Marvel to just make the Infinity Saga, right? They meant to make Marvel IP for the next 50 to 100 years, as long as they're a company. So they're going to get recast. And at some point, we've got to accept that. Like, I think they should have recast Black Panther. And, they should recast all of these guys if they need to. And so if they recast RDJ as Dr. Doom, Victor Von Doom at that, I'm in. Like, I'm not. And he's a great actor. And if he kills it, great. They got the directors, that we've trusted, the writer. Like, to me, like, I'll give them that. Like, I'm all good there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was gonna say, as big as that news was.
Wait, what about Bruce?
Absolute. Oh wait. Sorry, my bad. Bruce, go ahead.
You're good. I'm gonna go against the game. I really. It doesn't do it for me. Because
it feels a little gimmicky.
Because I'm always gonna think of RDJ as Iron Man. I'm always gonna think that. So when he came out and revealed himself to be the actor for Doom, I was like, what? Like, I'm so confused right now. I'm still confused.
I will say this, right? A lot of people had the same thought when Chris Evans was cast as Captain America. They're like, he was already Human Torch. How's this going to work? And the other thing I think about too is like, how many Batmans have we had been? Like Michael Keaton was awesome. Christian Bale was awesome. I really like Robert Pattinson as Batman. In my opinion, those thoughts will always occur when the cast is made. But once that movie comes out, if it's done well, right, good directing, good writing, and just a great movie, we forget who it is and what they were before, in my opinion. Yeah. And I think that can happen again.
I'm excited I'm excited for the movie. I'm a little bit more excited for Secret Wars than Doom, but
Doom's gonna be in Secret Wars.
Right.
Doom is it. Like that's gonna be like, it's essentially like Infinity War Endgame Part 1 and Part 2. Okay. Yeah, Doomsday's Part 1 event. Like they've already said
the big bad. He's Thanos now, right?
Yeah. And then it's Russo brothers for both. It's the writer for both. Doom is in both. They've also confirmed Fantastic Four and X-Men will be in Secret Wars. Or
I think that'll be like bringing the Fox characters in. You know, I think they're still gonna reboot X-Men completely, but that'll be after Secret Wars. Yeah. But I totally get how you're feeling, Bruce. Like in a sense, I'm feeling the same way, but that's why I'm saying like the Russo brothers and the writers, like I feel like they're going to do something sick that we're like just gonna work out. It's gonna come together because like who knows, like with the multiverse just opens up a lot of possibilities with it, but like he might also just be like maybe there's some like unmultiverse reason that he looks like RDJ, or maybe he's so scarred that you don't even know it's him, right? Because Dr. Doom is scarred, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I just want to see it. Like, let's just see it.
Yeah.
And it's gonna.
And Ryan, that's a good point. Like that idea was not rashly made. Like they know that they had to come hard and come big. So they vetted through a lot of that, like how are people going to take it, all of this stuff, like, and I'm sure the Russo brothers had to sell that, like this is who we want before they greenlit it. So again, like I think at this point now we just got to let these guys have the reins and let's see what happens.
Let them cook.
Yeah, let them.
Yeah, they got to come hard.
Yeah. I think Marvel is very aware they got to come hard now, like based on what's been happening. So I'm open to let's see what it go. But as Ryan was saying, as cool and as hyped as that, my most favorite, most exciting news was the Galactus cameo. That was freaking dope. Like that was so sick.
So for anyone who might not have seen this,
thank you.
Did you not see it yet?
You're talking about the. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I'm talking about the footage they showed at San Diego Comic-Con. It got leaked out today or late last night. They put together a bit of a trailer with some footage that they had already shot, and then some previs and like art direction kind of stuff that they've done in planning. But there's this one shot right at the end of this like teaser trailer that they put together where it's just a view in the Baxter building in their building, their apartment or whatever, out to the windows, and you just see this giant pair of eyes come in. It's Galactus, and it looks so amazing, and I'm just like so jacked. Like,
and not to mention, like they'd already like hyped it with the drone show with Galactus,
that
right?
Drone show was insane.
Yeah, and so like that to me, like, and now it's confirmed. It's Galactus and Silver Surfer coming after. Earth is a target.
Did they confirm Silver Surfer like Norm?
Yeah, there's a couple things coming out that says like, well, I don't know if it's going to be the woman that's playing the female Surfer that's going to be that I don't know. They have confirmed though that it is Surfer and Galactus are targeting Earth, and that is happening in the Fantastic Four movie, which I'm hyped about.
And I mean, it hasn't been confirmed, but it's probably pretty reasonable to expect that this is not 616. This is another multiverse, and like somehow through this movie they're going to end up having to escape their multiverse into the 616. So like things like Silver Surfer, being Shalabel or whoever she's gonna be,
female, yeah.
I think she's like a one-off character. Like I think.
Well, yeah, multiple things have come out. Things have come out this last week. They were like, she will only be for one movie. That actress, like, it's not going beyond this movie. So I am fully confident and am happy if this was to happen that there will be the real Norn-Rad Silver Surfer for the longer duration of the movies.
At the end of the day, the thing to keep in mind about Secret Wars is kind of like the culminating Endgame-esque film for this multiverse saga, right? And they're gonna want to reboot X-Men and stuff like that. So I think through all this stuff, they're gonna have to reboot the MCU, but also bring some characters over, because they're not gonna like end this version of the Fantastic Four after Secret Wars and start Fantastic Four all over again, right? Like there's some characters that are gonna have to like carry into the next phase, unless they just abandon it all and go full on X-Men mutants. That's possible.
So I think about like when one thing you kind of need in these like tied together kind of stories with several movies involved, you kind of need some tentpole characters to kind of anchor you through the whole thing. Like that's what RDJ was as Iron Man through the Infinity Saga, right? You can even put Chris Evans was in that. I would be willing to bet that Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards is going to be one of those 100%. Anchor characters throughout whatever comes beyond. Yeah. And then we already know, and Kevin Feige already said that after Secret Wars, it is the mutant saga. So there's going to be some.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah. There's going to be.
That doesn't mean it's just mutants, right? Like
no.
You know what I mean? Like there's plenty of mutant saga events that involve other characters
coming back.
Yeah. My point was that I wouldn't be surprised if like another one of these anchor characters is like a mutant related character.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I feel like any reboot of X-Men characters is going to happen after Secret Wars.
Yes, I agree.
Or it could happen beforehand, but it will be like not part of the main.
Well, like Kevin Feige, for example, has even come out and said like, I can't imagine anyone else playing Wolverine besides Hugh Jackman anytime soon. Right? Yeah. That gives Hugh Jackman the next, because Secret Wars is 2027.
3 years.
Yeah, right? So that's 3 more years where you could get some Hugh Jackman Wolverine. And then after Secret Wars is complete, right? Like the next movie will be 2028, 2029. Like if they put in a new Wolverine, then like that is not lying with what he said. So
yeah. Well, we'll see. Who knows? Lots of things come together.
Yeah. Right on. All right, fellas. Appreciate you coming on and chatting with me here for a little bit. For those who don't know, the 4 of us will all be soon together for the first time in Terrificon. So we'll get some good footage there.
It's coming.
We are in the home stretch. Yeah, we are in the home stretch. So I am super hyped. So
we've been thinking about this for like almost a whole year.
Keep that in mind, everyone. Thanks for watching. And then again, I will link into the description. Be sure and check out the Council of X on Colossus Collector's channel, where they get into the nitty gritty of the movie. And Ryan will have the mystery of the grass. Yes, he'll have the mystery of the grass and the concrete structures solved by tomorrow, by tonight.
Probably.
Get a beautiful mind, this thing.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Thanks for all.